this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and I'm here on Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. I believe that's Super Tuesday because it's 2/22/22 for the date. I believe it's also Jen Lee's 40th birthday from Quirks and Stitches, so happy birthday. Smokey is here to join us. Hello. And I'm here for my weekly cross-stitching update. So let's get started. This past week, I worked on quite a few different things. In this coming week, I will work on fewer things, but mostly just finishing goals because it's the end of the month. And this week I'm filming on Tuesday because yesterday was President's Day here in the United States, so everybody was home. I had my family over for games, and I did actually get to stitch yesterday, which was amazing because sometimes that doesn't happen when we have a game day, but no filming. And next week I'm thinking of also filming on Tuesday because Tuesday is the 1st of March. So I can just wrap up February, tell you everything I'm planning to do for the end of February, and then start fresh on Tuesday next week. So I think I did that at the beginning of February also, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that for March. So hi kitty. Yeah, so let's get started. First off with travel stitching, I have my temperature pieces that I like to start with. I have my Kitty Paws Wander With Me, which is a companion piece to the Dog Paws Walk With Me, and you can find these in my Etsy shop. I'm doing the cat one because I like cats. This is the one I'm doing for this year. So I was able to do 2 more paws this Sunday. And here's where I got to. Let me see. Feels like this is 27 count Vintage Country Mocha, and it does feel like it's a little bit see-through when I hold it up, and then changes the color. But anyways, this is 27 count Linda in Vintage Country Mocha, 1/1 full crosses, and I got these 2 paws stitched. This is our heat wave in the month of February. It got up to low to mid 80s that week, but now we're back into the 60s and 70s. And yesterday was, I think this pad, the big pad of this paw, was high 50, like 59 maybe. So this yesterday, today, and tomorrow I think are all supposed to be kind of cool also. So I don't think we're gonna get really down into the low 50s though, because that would be nice. Get some purple, but I kind of don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe December will let us get back down. I think the lowest we got was kind of this periwinkle shade here, but there's I think 2 more lower than that I haven't been able to do in January or February, but that's okay. So that one's trucking along. I will probably, since I did another 2 paws this week, I'll wait until I have a single paw, or perhaps even until I get all the way around here before I start the ball and then do the ball of yarn. So I think I'm like right here now, one of these 2. So I could start on the yarn, and come in this way. So whichever of these paws I only need to do 1 per week, I'll probably start working on the ball of yarn that week. Because I like to do the whole paw at once, so if I have a partial, only the amount of temperatures for a partial paw, I just wait and do it the next week. So, and my other one that I'm doing this year is Temperature Butterflies, and this one I'm doing retroactively for the year 2002. I'm so used to saying 20 something now that I forgot that those early 2000s, we didn't say it that way. Just say 2000 and. So anyways, I got some progress on this one. This is 32 count Mystery Gray Green Even Weave on 1/1 full crosses. So this one's tinier than the other one. I got the February butterfly finished, outlined, And in order to, I had just a little bit of the vine, like the veining done to go. So I had a whole bunch of string left. So I just kept going into March to finish my string rather than putting it back. And then I got started on filling in. These are the only 2 patches of that color. So then I started in on the second day, and I'll do all of wherever that one is throughout the butterfly before moving on. So this is coming along. I have only 1 week left until February's over. So I may not get this finished in time, but I'm okay with that. I have I was thinking of working on this here at home for my travel stitching, quote unquote travel stitching. But still in the Valet line, I would work on the Prim Stitch series piece because I really want to get that done. It's so close to being finished that I'm kind of like, let's just get this done. In January, I was a little bit too far behind, and at the end of the month, I went ahead and kept working on my temperature butterflies as travel stitching. But this month, I just want to get that Prim Stitch series finished. So I'll show you that in a second. First, I will show you this one, which is my main travel piece. And I finished February, which is exciting. So I have all week to work on Prim Stitch series. So hopefully I can get that finished off my list and get that made into a quilt, a little doll-sized quilt for my daughter. And then starting next week, I can start working on the March block. So this is this Stitch Along by the Victoria Sampler that was released last year on their Facebook group. It is no longer available there. They are releasing them now on their website 1 month at a time in the creative designs section. And I did see February is available now. So both of these are available. There's, I'll get that before and after for you. I finished February. This is 28 count Dove Gray Monaco, mostly 1/1. And then a lot of the specialty stitches are 2/2, sorry, mostly 2/2. The specialty stitches are often 1 strand. However, the satin stitches, like these hearts and this heart, I did with 2 strands because otherwise they don't look full enough. And yeah, I thought that turned out really cute. The creative designs patterns do not come with a materials list, so you kind of play it. They're meant to be used with whatever you want. You pick your own colors. They give you directions for the specialty stitches, and they give you a color chart, so you can kind of see their suggestions of colors, but then you kind of run with it on your own. So I picked just a handful of colors, not really a handful, more than a handful, 2 handfuls, a couple shades of each color that I can pull from for each, for the different elements. So far I'm enjoying that, and I like how it's turning out. Going forward this week into travel stitching, I showed this to you last week. I have not done any more on it, but I will be working on this in the Valet line this week. Hands and Heart to God, which is number 12 of 12 in the Prim Stitch series. And I believe this was 2020, the middle of 2020 through the middle of 2021, I believe. And so this was like the June 21 block, I think. And I haven't finished it because I stalled out. I think I got started on something else and I never came back to it. So this is the same as you saw it last week, but here's this one. Doing these on 25 count vintage cloth in the color Prim and with all the called for Ari floss. However, I am changing it to include some specialty stitches. So you can see the heart and the center of the star are already specialty stitches. And I believe I will be doing like the leaves of the flowers at least, and maybe the centers of these ones will also be some sort of specialty stitch. So just the flowers is all I have left. So hopefully I can get those done this week and call this one complete. That would be great. check, check, check. Get that off my list. It's been fun, but I do want to move on and start be able to get some other things done in my travel stitching time. So I also have my Mill Hill. I worked on this a tiny bit yesterday in between games. There was one game that I went out early, so I had a little bit of time that I could just sneak off and put in a length of thread. So I did that. So that's all I got done yesterday, but I worked on a little bit, at least 2 strands maybe the week before. Yeah, that was last week. Yeah, so 2 lengths of thread last week. So 3 total since you've seen this last, all in this pale green color. That's the color of the plastic canvas. Count the perforated paper, that's what it is. So here it is. And yeah, so there's a little bit more down here to finish this corner. And then there's more fill-in of the background here, and then a little bit more fill-in of the flower, along with some beads in these 2. There's a button here that's a bee, I believe, but I'll put that on at the end because I don't want it to get caught on the threads as I'm stitching. So that's that one. So I'll do a little bit more on this next Monday, since I'm planning to come back on Tuesday. So I will see it. You will see a little bit more work on it here in February. And that's my plan with that one. Let's see. I guess I could show you Knitting Woman because I did work on that regularly. It's coming along. Ooh, I turned right to it. What do you know? Here's my golden kite. This is my focus piece that I'm working on my Mill Hill for a little bit of time on Monday before I move on to my main piece for that day. Tuesdays, I have been doing temperature Tuesdays where I'm doing a little bit on my temperature butterflies before I move on to my main piece for that day. And then the rest of the week, I'm working on Knitting Woman for a little bit before I move on to my main piece for the day. So every day, I'm stitching at least 2 pieces. Probably 3 on most days, actually, because I have my travel piece in the car also. So that's kind of what I do. So this is one that I did get work on it every day I was supposed to. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I got, the lowest day was 72 stitches and the highest day was 146. So here is this one. Still have some thread on my needle because I pulled a really long blended thread and figured I just keep working on that next time, which will be tomorrow. I'll get back to it. Today I'll work a little bit on my butterflies this afternoon if I can. So this is on 22 count Aida, 2/1 half stitches. And there is some coverage issues in the dark colors, so it kind of gives it more of a antique-y look. And I am hoping to give this to my mom in November, so I'm hoping to finish it. I'm at like 66% done or something. I noticed the halfway arrow was right here because I'm stitching over here right now. So the top half is, I'm almost exactly 50%, 100% complete. But because I have so much stitched on the bottom half, I'm actually at like 66% finished. I think it's 66. It could be 62. Somewhere between 62 and 66. I don't write that stuff down, but I did take note of it this week. So yeah, I have a little bit more done in the straps and in the shirt colors. There's like more in this elbow area and along in here. I did some more in the kitty cat, and I'm filling in this dark color now. So next time you'll see a lot of this filled in, which is always fun to see the dark colors get filled in because it really creates definition when you get those shadows in there. So pretty fun. Oh, and somebody asked to see my back because I wondered if I'm carrying my threads when I stitch cross country. Yes, I do. I try not to carry longer than like an inch and a half. And because I stitch on high counts, that's quite a few stitches over. That's like 30 stitches on this, is a little over like an inch and a half. So here's my back. And you can see the areas where it was like fill in is pretty like plain. But then there's all these areas where I am jumping around. Since I stitch in hand, I do If I already have stitches in between where I am and where I'm going, I'll weave it under in order to keep the tension in place. And I make sure that I'm not pulling too tight. So these are pretty loose because I don't want them warping the front in the future. So these will all get stitched over, so it's not a problem. If I'm stitching on a sampler or something that has space in between motifs, I don't carry that way, but on full coverage, yeah, I'm carrying. So anyways, that's that. But I don't like to carry long. If it's like more than 2 inches, I will tie it off and restart in another place because I am efficient in my use of thread. So I don't like to waste thread. So if it's too long of a jump, I will cut off and start over just to save my thread. So, but if I feel like, I guess my rule of thumb sometimes is if the amount of thread I would use to tuck under and where I'm ending and start, you know, weave under where I'm starting, if that length it's the amount of my tails or less, I'll just carry it because otherwise it's a waste of effort to tuck in, cut, and come back in the new place. It's like, let's just keep going, and then I don't have to stop and fuss with all that. If it's longer, but then the 2 tails combined for stopping and starting, then I'll just stop and start because then otherwise, then I'm wasting more thread than if I were to stop and start. So I guess that's kind of part of my rule of thumb, if that makes any sense. I think we can start in on other things now. So let's see. Monday and Tuesday, I worked on Lady of the Mist, which was one of my WIP Go calls for this year. WIP Go is like a bingo board challenge group created by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And she calls 2 numbers every month. And I have 2 boards. So I have a Fancy Lady board and a full coverage board. So this one was one of the ones on my Fancy Lady board. And my other one was Garden Prelude, and I did that at the beginning of the month. This one, technically got 2 days this week. I have one more this coming Saturday. So Monday was busy. At this point, I don't even remember why. I got 6 stitches on Monday. So technically I touched it on Monday, which is really, really sad, but I did get some time. I did a little bit more on Tuesday, and then even Wednesday I did get a little bit more time on it because I wanted to finish my string. I was working on the border and I didn't want to leave it hanging. So I went ahead and finished my string on Wednesday before moving on. So the itty bitty bit on Monday and the itty bitty bit on Wednesday can be kind of combined to count for a day. Because my WIP Go goal for the month is 3 days of stitching. So it didn't really get a great day. Tuesday was an okay day, and Monday and Wednesday were bad stitching days. Hopefully Saturday coming up here will be a good stitching day, and I can get some more progress on this. I'm working in the corner so far. Up here on the top, I did this little bit, not all of it, part of it, and some more border. So hopefully next time I can come down and start working on these flowers too. So that'd be fun. And this is on some light denim 32 count even weave by Color and Cotton. And where did it go? There it is. Almost to the end. I believe I'm like another like 10, 20, 12 stitches away from the edge. And if you see, I do have a tiny margin. Lady of the Mist is huge. I guess I'll do my before and after before I get too crazy. So yeah, this is 2/2 on 32 count linen in light denim by Color and Cotton. Called for everything except for this top border. The 2 of the colors in the flowers and the border are called for DMC Variations flosses, and I couldn't find the brown one either at the store at Joann's or on 123 Stitch when I was kitting this up, so I went ahead and just picked a Victorian motto that was similar. So that's the only one that's different, but it's close. And Lady of the Mist is enormous. Many people will do this on a fat half, especially if you're on a 28 count, you would have to do a fat half. But I wanted to keep it on a fat quarter. I don't care if I have small margins. So this is like maybe like 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches on the edges. in order to keep it on a fat quarter. I'm okay with that. If that bothers you, definitely go up to a fat half. Yeah. But I figured I'd rather be frugal with paying for fancy fabric and deal with the small margin. And if you remember, if you've been following me for a long time, you will remember my Snow Queen by Shannon Christine Designs. That had a 1/2 inch margin on the side because I was determined to use the stash fabric that I had. It was a perfect color. And I framed it. It doesn't have very much on the edge. You can kind of sometimes see the edge of the fabric in one area, and I had to remove the serging stitches on the sides in order to have it be solid fabric all the way to the edge of the frame, but it worked. It's hanging in my daughter's room. She loves it. It's all good. So because I frame things myself most of the time, I'm okay with that. So hopefully Lady of the Mist will see one more decent stitching day on Saturday and get a little bit more of that. It'd be nice to round the border with get all the way to the edge with that border, and then just kind of be able to fill in all the greens in the sides. That would be really nice. So we'll see what I can do on Saturday. Then Wednesday I worked on my Chatelaine. So these are also all the wrapping up of the Winter Olympics challenge that I was doing, which is over now. Sunday was the closing ceremonies. I really did very little Olympics watching, but I did lots of Olympic stitching following the prompts in a Instagram challenge group. Challenge prompts by the Naptime Stitcher on Instagram. So this is my Winter Wonderland band sampler by Chatelaine, and you can find this on their website. I got a PDF download. I would definitely recommend the PDFs because I'm stitching on it from a paper copy, but I printed it out on 3 pages. It's given to you, at least this one was given to me in one big chart page that was, if you were to print it on a regular sheet of paper, would be impossible to read, especially the little 1/1 symbols. So I chopped it up into 3 pages, and so it's a lot bigger and easier to read. So you could probably also do that on a digital device of some kind, but I haven't really gotten that far in my stitching experience, so I don't know how to do that. I'm happy with the paper copy, it's just as long as it has been blown up, so that's good. So here's where I got to. I did one day on Winter Wonderland band sampler. This is on 32 count ice blue Belfast linen, and I got these 2 little squirrels done. Aren't they adorable? They're 1/1 squirrels, and I got their snow done underneath them as well, which is done in silk lame braid in order to be able to backstitch them and get them completely finished. So I think I worked on this. I did all but the black on that Wednesday, and then Thursday, before I worked on other stuff, I did the black. They're 1 stitch for the eye, and then they're backstitching. So hopefully you can see that okay. And then so next time I realized I'm really close to the next section. So next time I can work on these birds. There's 2 black birds, a little bit more snow, and then there's like curly cues on the border, and it starts the whole next band. I should show this again. So it's very close. I did these squirrels, so I just have to do all this snow, these 2 birds, and like these flowers in the border. Then I get to start on this band, and then all of this stuff. That fence will probably take a little while. But this is doable to finish. So I took note of this, mental note, possible finish alert, and I can probably put the date the year I finished it down here in this box, because I have the date I started it in that box, which is charted for a date, but I could probably put a tiny date in here, which could be 2022 if I finish it, but we'll see. What I decided to do in my in my journal is I started up another page in the back with possible goals to finish. So if I'm in the mood for finishing goals at the end of the year, I can look at that and be like, run through the list and be like, what am I in the mood for? Could I finish one of these right now? And so I think it'd be really helpful. So I'll show you now that I finally got that put away. So in the back of I'm using the Bee in My Bonnet planner that was given to me, and it's got month tabs for all of my stuff. And what I do, my monthly spread is my plan. The weekly spreads are where I put what I actually did. And then at the very back, I have my WIP Go boards that I taped in here with stickers. And then I wrote out a list of all my other WIPs that are not on my WIP Go board, including a little new start section. And then the page after that, I added finishes, which I only have one so far. And then over here, I've got some goals. So I put in grapes to possibly finish the park threads, and then Winter Wonderland band sampler, which could be a finish. So I'll start a list as I'm going through these, and I'd like to put my minimum amount of at least working on everything. Like if on here I have little stickers checking these remaining WIPs to make sure I've gotten to them. And I would like to get to everything before the end of the year. But if I'm feeling like I've gotten to everything at least once and I have some extra time, what could I make really good progress on? What could I finish? What could I get to a good goal on? So I thought that was a nice feature to have in there and like be aware of what I could do more on. So, hi Katie. Yeah. So next I worked on Amazing Grace, which is my edited version from my Big Toe Designs. Made a really big version, and these are some motifs from that, but I made it smaller with backstitch words instead, and just because I want to get this finished and gifted, and I was hesitant to think that the large version would actually get done. So I am stitching it with a variety of my own threads. What's this one? Garden Gate by Victorian Motto, Royalty by Color and Cotton, and Stepping Stones by Week Silence. So those are my colors. And I got the Olympics challenge I worked on for this was referring to words. So I went ahead and worked on the words, and I got the second verse finished. This is 28 count ivory Jobelin. And I'm doing it 1/1, including those words. They're so tiny. And they are legible in person. They're easy to read in person. And I think it's adorable. And I will be pulling this one out again as well on Sunday. So my goal is to finish the pot over here on Sunday. And if I have more time, I might keep going and start in on the next section as well. So yeah, so that's coming along. I'm happy with that. And then I worked on Twisted Band Sampler for Julie over at Stitching at the Cabin's birthday. She started this, and so I thought I'll pull mine out and give it some love as well. I didn't get a ton of time on it, which is a little bit sad, but I'm working on the cross stitch band right here, and I got like halfway through. I had a little bit started, and then I got a little bit more. So it's something. So here is this one. This is on the called for 32 count bisque linen by Lakeside Linens. And the cross stitches are 2/2 and the specialty stitches are 1 strand. With the DMCs that are suggested in the chart. They have Dinky Dyes, Averiswa, and DMC options available. So I got this cross stitch band finished all the way to there. So I got more to do. These middle sections are pretty big. So just kept going. And then I'll do this same band again in the next color. Then I can do more specialty stitches. So it's trucking along. This one I wasn't planning to get out necessarily this month. And so since I got it out for Julie's birthday, it came out for this one day, but it would be nice to work on it more this year. So it is a nice colorful piece. So maybe in the summer would be another time to pull it out and do some more on it. So that was Friday. Also on Friday, I started something. I didn't start a WIP for myself. I started a WIP for my daughter, with my daughter. So this one I'm not counting in my list of WIPs because technically it is her project. I'm just gonna help her with it. So this is Snowman with Kitten by Sarah Summers, charted by Pain Free Crafts. And I was told Sarah Payne from Pain Free Crafts, she left a comment on my last video that Sarah Summers artwork is being retired at the end of February. So if you like her artwork, you should go now. You got one more week until it will be taken down. So she has, there's another one that I bought that's called Gardener's Friend. Where is that one? That's also by her. So her aesthetic is very light and sweet and very pretty. So if you like that, take a look at that. And I'm cropping it. We decided to crop it. So we took out a page and 30 stitches on this side, a page and 30 stitches on this side, a full page on the bottom, and what was it, 35 stitches along the top. So we'll get all the main important things. And I did 2 lengths of thread up here around the ear of the kitten so that my daughter can start. And I have the needle threaded, but we still didn't get a chance for her to start her stitches. It's just, yeah, too busy. Maybe this week she can get her stitches started. She has some pale blue 3865, no, 3865 is the white. 3756, I think maybe, is a really pale blue. She's got that one on her needle that she's gonna start in the ear of the kitty cat right here. So I will put stitches in this every once in a while in order to help her and to, when she's interested in it, I'll work on it to kind of help move it along, but I'm not gonna necessarily put a lot of effort into it because it's not mine. So if she's like, oh, I want to work more on that, can you add some more to this section? Then I'll put in a length thread here and there. So it's gonna be her project. I'm gonna do, at this point, I'm planning to do everything except for the cat. She really wants to do the cat. I'm hopeful that as she grows up, she might take this over and it will become her project and she'll do the rest of it all on her own with just some of my help from the early years. That would be really cool. So we'll see. She's 9, so I don't know if she'll pick up cross-stitching as a long-term hobby, but at this point, it's really fun, and I'll go with it. So this is where we got to. Since the kitty cat is right here, the middle of the design was like right here. I think it was actually right next to this. So this is the top of the design. I found the center of the fabric and then worked my way over to the kitty because it was easier than starting in the corner, because she just wanted to get to the cat. So I'm like, okay. So this is 2 lengths of thread, 18 count Aida in white, 2/1. And this is like a 796 or something. It's one of those dark blues. So it's really pretty. And her thread's on the needle ready to go. We will likely have 2 needles going on this piece because I'm gonna be anchoring her needle onto the thread because she doesn't like to deal with the tail of a thread on your needle because she doesn't want to pull it off. So what I'm gonna do, what I like to do for her, is I'll anchor the threads. I'll have the two ends of the thread at one end and loop it through the needle and come back. So I have 2 ends here and the needle over here with one big loop. I'll anchor the ends into the stitches on the back, and then she can be stitching with not having to worry about her needle falling off. But because of that, if she only stitches 5 stitches and gives up and goes and walks away, but then I want to put in another length at some point, I'll need another needle for that. So I won't just be able to like park it and reuse her needle. So we'll have two needles going on this. But I think that will be really fun and a nice project to do with her. So every once in a while, if we see a little bit of progress, I will report back and let you know how it's going. I'm gonna take a quick break because I hear the gardeners coming and I don't want that to be a loud distraction in the background. Okay, I'm back. I think the gardeners are gone. While I was waiting, I did a little bit of stitching on my butterflies. I finished that block and started in on this next color. This was the only block of that color, so sneak peek for next time. So that was fun. Got a little bit of, I'll probably do a little bit more on that still today. That doesn't officially qualify for my bonus stitching. I could do a little bit more than that. At the very least, I have this much thread on my needle, so I'll finish that and probably do at least the rest of that color. I think there's like 4 more patches of that color, so at the very least, I'll probably do that today and then see what the rest, see what else I get done this week. So let's see. Going forward, Saturday and Sunday, I worked on Sampler of Stitches. Yay! Finally! This is one that I want to do this year. Let's see, where's the one that's really big? Oh, here it is. This is one that I suggested that a bunch of us do this year if anybody had it, or if you want to get it, because it's an alphabet. And I figured we could do one letter every 2 weeks and then we'd have it done before the end of the year. I'm behind because I was focusing a lot on Bringo in January, and then February I was focusing a lot on the Winter Olympics, so I'm definitely going to want to play some catch up in the month of March. So by the end of February I should have finished through E. So I finished ABC, so I'm close. So I did finished B, started C on Saturday, and then finished C on Sunday. Sunday ended up being busier than I expected. Let me show you the other one here so you can see closer up what I was working on. Sunday ended up being busier than I expected, so I was hoping to finish C and start in on D, but I didn't quite get that. I was thankful to at least finish C. So yay, first chart finished. You can still find these on the Drawn Threads website. I believe that's the only place to get them. I haven't seen them anywhere else. I was gifted these charts. Each pack, you have to buy the pack separately. So this is part 1, ABC. It will come with the embellishments needed for that pack. And then I think there's 1 or 2 packs that don't require embellishments, and therefore they don't have the embellishments because there's nothing that's needed. This one needed a button and a few beads. So that's what came with that that pack. So, and I'm using the called for MPIs and the called for fabric, which is 30 count custard cream. I'm starting to remember. And this is where I got to. Yay! Everything is with 1 strand unless called for. So it called for 2 strands in this cushion stitch, and the satin stitch up here was 2 strands. I believe everything else is 1 strand. The letters so far are back stitch, are regular cross stitch, and then everything else is pretty much specialty stitches. So there's some cross stitch in the basket and these letters are the leaves and the crown, but everything else is some sort of specialty stitch. So that's really fun. And yeah, I'm really hoping. So, okay, I would like to do more on this month if I can. I don't know that I will be able to, but coming up here in my plans for this week, I have my full coverage WIP Go Draw number 2, which is also a half stitch project. So potentially I could get my 1,000 stitches WIP Go goal finished in 2 days instead of the 3 that I've given it, like I did with Bear Time Stories earlier in the month. So if I can do that in 2 days, my bonus day, we'll spend some more time on sampler stitches to try to get that caught up a little bit more. I won't get it caught up. I won't get all the way through E in 1 day, but if I can at least get a dent in the letter D, that would be great, because D is a little bit bigger than all the other letters have been so far, and E is smaller. So if I could at least get something done on D, I'd be pretty happy. So, but we'll see how long it takes me to get through my goal on Love Letter, which will be coming up here in a little bit. So I did sampler stitches on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, and then Monday, I didn't show you this last time because I forgot I was not going to be filming yesterday, but I pulled out my letter F fairy, and I actually decided to give this 2 days in February, which is really good because yesterday could have been a 0 stitching day because of my parents visiting and playing games most of the day, but I did end up getting a little bit done. They left with a little bit of the evening remaining this time, and so I was able to stitch just a little bit. So this is, I'm making one of these letter fairies for each of my nieces. I made one for myself, had so much fun that I thought I should make one for each of my nieces when they graduate from high school. So I've already gifted the first one. I have 2 more that are finished but not yet framed that I will be gifting this summer. This one will be for next summer. The following summer I have 2 more to gift. So I need to kind of step up my game and finish maybe one every 9 months instead of one every year at this point. And so that I can get the next year's graduation nieces, they'll be done in time. So I'm doing a color conversion on all of these at the very least to just similar things in my stash, but sometimes I'm also changing the colors. So this one I'm making more blue. Her dress is nice blue. A lot of the tealy blues in the letter are called for because I actually had them. But other things like the grays and the browns and wing colors are just kind of what I have that's close. So, oh, I gotta put that back. So here is where I got to yesterday. I'll hopefully be able to find my before picture since I didn't show it last time. Go back to where I showed it last in my videos. This is what I did yesterday. So this is on the called for, they're all on the called for 32 count Water Lily linen by Witchold, because I thought that would be a nice neutral for everybody, no matter what colors. I did mine on a Color and Cotton Rose Water 32 count Lugana, so it's a pink background. My nieces, I have an S coming later for one of my nieces, and hers will be on this Water Lily too, so it'll be kind of fun to compare what mine looks like versus what hers will look like. And I'll probably do some sort of color conversion, because mine I kind of stuck with the called for, just what I had in my stash that was close. So I'll probably do something a little bit different for my nieces, just so I'm not stitching the same thing twice. But so far I have her almost completely finished. Isn't she sweet? So I had this little shadow still to stitch, and then that same color was these tendrils here, and then I worked on her skin, got her skin completed, and backstitched. So today, since I have a little bit more time on her today, I'm going to work on her again today. I'm going to do her hair and maybe even work on her wings, because I would like to work up to these, but instead of counting over this way and potentially messing it up, I'm thinking I'll do her wings and then backstitch this to hook up with this and start these fronds from the top down. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll do her hair and then her wings and come up over here to work. I probably may not get to this part tomorrow or today, but I'll at least have the anchor started for doing this another time next month. That's the plan. And then once I have these fronds done, I'll probably like bead the top chunk. So that'll be, you know, in the future a little bit. So this will come out again in March for 2 or 3 days as well. But yeah, so I'll work on this a little bit more today. I'm excited about that. Today is busy as well because I have Bible study this evening. So hopefully I can get a little bit of time on this and get her hair done and the start on her wings. That's kind of my goal for today. Because once her hair is done, she'll be completely finished except for beading, which will be really cute. Okay, so the rest of the week, I'm basically finishing up WIP Go goals and personal goals with my stitching. So my first the next 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm planning to work on the love letter, which is my full coverage WIP Go goal number 2. The first one was Bear Time Stories, which I completed earlier. So this one. This is a golden kite. It's the full size. They also have a smaller version, which I was kind of tempted to do, but I loved like all the details in her dress and everything. A little bit too much. So I got the big kind, the big version. There are blends in here, so I need to do 2 strands. So it's a 2-strand half stitch on, I believe, 25 count. And I was hoping I had all the park threads finished. Alas, I do not. So I won't be able to just start in wherever I want to and work across the top like I was hoping to, but I will be working in parked threads just like I did on grapes. So here is where this one is at now. And I was working in parked threads last time as well. So I guess I have stuff all the way over to the other side because some of these went over here. You can see this is the outline of her hat. So some of these colors that were in here, there's a lot of, this yellow is like the start of the straw part of her hat. And then there's the white for the feather. And then some of the medium greens were like outlining the brim where it transitions from hat to background. So yeah, so that's far over. I'm curious how close that came to the edge of the piece. That'd be cool to find out once I get back into this. So that's where I'm starting from. So we'll see how much of this I can get worked in 3 days or 1,000 stitches, whichever comes first. So if I can get my 1,000 stitches done on day 2, I will leave day 3 open for sampler of stitches to try to get caught up on that. If I'm not close at all, and because I'm working in parked threads, I may need all 3 days. I was hoping if I was in the background, I could just go to town on some of these. Maybe I might be able to do a big chunk all at once and get a lot of numbers in and fill in some background. So maybe I'll just start with that and see how that goes. Because I want to make progress on this, but I also want to get caught up on sampler stitches. So I'm kind of just aiming for 1,000 stitches or thereabouts and call it done. So that's that one. And then I'm going to do my 3rd day on Lady of the Mist to get that WIP Go goal checked off. I'll do that on Saturday. And then I'm going to spend another day on Amazing Grace, which you saw already this time, to finish the pot next to the 2nd verse. And then the last day of February, I'm hoping to be able to pull out Colors of the Seasons to try to get a little bit more progress done on the winter block, because I would like to get this done before spring officially arrives on March 20th, I believe, because I would like to start spring, which is spring. Primavera, I think that's spring. So I would like to do that. So we'll see. I might end up, I was thinking about this, I might end up giving this the entire first week of March until like through Friday. So potentially I'm going to work on this on the 28th, which is a Monday, but I'm thinking I'll keep working on it until Friday to try to finish winter and maybe even start in on spring, and then be able to do sampler of stitches on the weekend or something. So it's kind of my thought on that one. So if for some reason I don't come back on Tuesday, I'll probably just be working on this to try to get this done. So here's where this is at now. I hear the gardener's coming back, so let's do this quick. This is on 27 count Linda in Vintage Country Mocha, like I'm doing my Wander With Me, only this is 2/2. And as I mentioned last time, I messed up on the counting down here, and so I'll be eventually unpicking this heart and shifting it over, but I'm going to do more of this actual scene before I figure out where I need my hearts to be, so I don't have to redo it a 3rd time. So this heart will be shifting over, but I also need lots of fill-in here, lots of white, green, gray, maybe a little bit of back stitching. I'm not sure how much is in there, just a little bit, I think. All right, so I think that's everything I have to share with you. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your February, whatever you're working on, and I will, Lord willing, be back in March to share what I've managed to do this week and what I'm planning to do in March. I'm thinking March will probably just be working on WIP Go projects and family pieces and getting caught up on Sampler of Stitches, Color of the Seasons, things like that. So I have one special thing in March, which I'll be starting spring montage with Carolyn Zook over at Zook Stitch, possibly Kat. I don't know if she's decided to start this at that point on the weekend of the first day of spring, which is March 18th. I'm gonna start the spring version by Pain Free Crafts. This is Janet Stevers artwork, and so I'll be starting this one. Other than that, I don't have any plans for anything interesting, anything beyond goal stitching and family stitching, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. March is a longer month, but I also feel like I have a lot of things to get caught up on, so I don't want to get all excited and think I can do a bunch of extra stuff. Might have to wait until April for that. So we'll see. With that, I hope you have a wonderful week and enjoy your cross stitching and your family and your friends and your downtime in your work. Enjoy it all. Hope you have a wonderful week. Happy stitching. Bye.